All right, well, day 2 of practice is wrapping up here on Lake Cumberland for the 4th stop of the FLW Tour, presented by TH Marine. I got David Dudley, who knows a thing or two about catching bass. And David, before we get into talking about catching bass, okay, you were showing me some stuff at your boat, and it's this thing right here. I want to know a little bit about that.
Yeah, I've been having this up underneath my wing for a long time, just waiting to come out with it, and it's of course, it's a shaky head. It's a stand-up shaky head. It's the only true stand-up shaky head. It started by studying them in pools, okay? So I started studying swim baits in pools, and the more I got to studying baits and finding out what baits lie to you and what baits truly do what they say they're going to do, so I started taking things out of my tackle box and saying, what's lying to me? So anyways, I got to throwing what stand-up shaky heads were out there, and then when I got to throwing them in the pool, every one of them was falling down. So I designed a shaky head. It's got legs on it, perfectionlures.com. You can go there. We can't keep them in stock. They are the real deal. I'm excited about it. We're coming out with a full product line, so it's been exciting.
I know I'm kind of excited to get my hands on one and fish with it, but the reason I brought it up is because I feel like there's probably going to be some fish caught on it this week. Absolutely,
yeah. We got to throwing it quite a bit yesterday. Not so much today. We went way up in the river trying to find largemouth, but yesterday, no doubt. I mean, the tournament that was here years ago was one on a shaky head, so I will have it on, no doubt.
Now, you mentioned that tournament years ago. What's your experience like here on Cumberland, because you are one of the tour veterans? How many times have you been here before?
I think twice, and I know I finished top 5 one time, and I don't know where I finished that before, but I know I got a top 5 here somewhere or another. Yeah, I fished here twice.
And you have a lot of experience, obviously on Beaver. You've won there before. You go back home, you got like Smith Mountain. Does Cumberland set up at all like a Smith Mountain or any other kind of highland reservoirs you fished before?
This lake looks exactly like Beaver. Beaver Lake sets up just like it, but there is 1,767 miles of it that looks like Beaver. I can tell you this, that I put my boat in today, had a full tank of gas, and I am literally on fumes right now, because the more you keep driving, you're like, man, it's got to change. The topography's got to change, and you keep driving. It all looks the same. So it is confusing when you're out there. You're like, why should I even stop here? Like you almost lose confidence, because you're like, this looks like the same 50 miles that I just drove by. So it messes with your head. It's going to be a tough tournament mentally. Tough tournament even when it comes to fishing. Of course, catching keepers, you're going to hear about it every day coming across that way.
Yep.
I caught, X amount of smallmouth, none of them kept, it's a broken record. So the cool thing about this tournament, it's going to throw a lot of curveballs towards everybody in the point standings and, in this tournament. So you're liable to luck up and catch 5 keeper smallmouth in this tournament, and then come back tomorrow and you're like scratching your head like, where did I even go fishing at today? So it's a tournament where I don't think anybody's going to feel extremely confident going into it, because you're going to be nervous. I'm nervous. I mean, you can't. It's hard. Like yesterday, we caught like, I don't know how many smallmouth we caught. Never had a keeper.
Non-keepers, right? They got to be 18 inches to keep.
18 inches. Yep. Never had a keeper. So, am I going to be able to sleep good at night on this tournament? No. I'm going to be nervous just like everybody else. And I think, I'm going to be fist pumping a 12-inch spot, and I'm going to be fist pumping anything beyond that. So I'm nervous right now.
The other thing I've heard a lot from guys is that, because there's largemouth, smallmouth, spotted bass, there's no real rhyme or reason to catching. Like, you can go down a bank, you could catch a 3-pound largemouth, and then you could catch a 3-pound smallmouth that doesn't keep right behind it. Like, they're all kind of mixed together. You can't really just say, hey, I'm going to go hunt largemouths, or hey, I'm going to go hunt smallmouths. Have you been able to dissect that anymore?
I don't know about that. I think you can the smallmouths and spots aren't really dominant where the largemouth are.
Okay.
They're, you know, they may be.
They're around,
but not as predominant as when you get in a smallmouth area. It's smallmouth, you know, and then maybe a few spots, but I haven't caught a single largemouth where I thought a smallmouth should be. So I don't know. Maybe I'm in the wrong area. I don't know. But I found today, you know, we tried to concentrate on largemouth today, and it's still scratching my head with them suckers too. So.
Well, one more day of practice left for you. What's the plan? What else do you want to try to accomplish out here on Cumberland?
I don't know. I have nothing to build. I know I'm sounding like Brian Thrift and Andy Morgan talking right now. Brian Thrift, he never gets a bite in practice. Andy Morgan never catches one in practice. So, you know, I have really nothing to build on. I'm going to have to think about tonight. And, you know, part of me says, hey, should I try to expand on the smallmouth for spots, or should I expand on the largemouth? And I'm kind of 50-50 on each, so I really don't know what I'm going to do tomorrow. It's pretty much, I think most people in this tournament, we can start the games right now.
Sure.
You know, and the reason I say that, not because I'm catching them, is because you got 2,000 miles of shoreline that looks the same. So you just go fishing, and, you know, the person who's going to concentrate the best and pay attention to details the best is probably going to come out on top.
Oh, I like it. I think with that, we will let you get rolling. Also, I got to give you credit for your belt, because if you think you're an awesome fisherman, you're not unless you start using like a rod sock as a belt like David Dudley does.
So my wife packed my bags for me, and I knew today was going to be raining, so I put some jeans on today, and I didn't have a belt, so thank you, Angela. So rod socks are a little bit, you can use them for about anything. So I used a rod sock for a belt today.
Cinch her down and go fishing.
Yep.
Well, good luck tomorrow, David.
All right, man. Thank you.
Well, it's starting to get dark here, and we got Evinrude Pro Barry Wilson just wrapping up a hard day of practice. Now, Barry, right now we are at the takeoff ramp where things are going to get rolling on Thursday, and you launched here yesterday, which would lead me to believe you might be looking for some largemouths.
Yeah, I am. When I put in here, I didn't really realize how big this lake is, and when I was going down, I started cutting in some of these pockets and strictly looking for largemouth. You know, I know everybody's talking about the smallmouth here. I actually did that today for a little bit, but no go on that, so I went back to largemouths and caught a few. Well,
tell me a little bit about it, because we haven't really talked to anyone yet that's been looking, you know, kind of for a largemouth pattern. What's the lake like up this way?
Well, there's a lot of floaters, for one. I know I've had a lot of guys talk about, you know, running into them, knocking their lower unit, and busting them up a little bit. So you got to be careful.
A lot of debris in the water. Yep.
A lot of debris, so you got to be real careful with that. But you know, it's the actual river itself is got a stain to it until you get down about 2 or 3 miles, and then it starts clearing up.
Okay.
Same with the creeks. They're clear until you get back into the back, about midsection to the back, then they start staining up. I found them in the clear water, and I found them in the stained water. So you know, I hadn't really got a solid pattern yet. Like I said today, I only ended up catching 3 with one good keeper, and I was trying some different things today, but I'm gonna try to cap on that a little bit better tomorrow and see what I can find out.
Okay. What are the water temps you're seeing up this way?
It seemed like it dropped a little bit this morning, and then as that sun got up, it started warming back up. About 64 degrees is what I'm seeing.
Okay.
So, you know, with the rain this morning, the being cooler, it had dropped just a little bit, probably 2 or 3 degrees, and then it came back up to about 64 degrees. And that's the way it was yesterday afternoon as well.
You haven't, and maybe you haven't been looking, but you haven't seen any trying to, you know, maybe on a bed or anything like that?
I've looked, I mean, but I haven't seen anything yet.
Okay.
I still think that, you know, it's going to be a major pre-spawn. Unless you get down on the south end, that water may be warmer down there, and there actually may be some on the beds down there. But up here, it's strictly going to be a pre-spawn type deal. The key is, you know, this weather that we got coming in. You know, we got more rain coming in. We got 40-degree temperatures day 1 and day 2 of the tournament. So That's gonna play a big role. It's gonna kind of knock them in the head, and basically you're gonna have to slow down and downsize and slow down and try to finesse them, because this time of year it's not like it is later in the year where you have a cold snap for a day or two that they really won't pull back. But I think this time they probably will.
So, in your opinion, and as far as your practice goes, what you dial in, between you have the last couple of days and what you find tomorrow, with that weather change, is that something where you sit there and you adjust from there? Like you look at a map and maybe say, well, I caught some fish here, now I need to slide over here. Like it's real-time adjustment kind of thing.
Yeah,
like that?
I think it's they're not going to move far. You're just going to have, and I don't even think they're going to move at all, because they got spawning on their minds. They got they're ready to get ready and spawn. I think they're not going to move. The key is going to be slowing down and downsizing basically to get them to bite. It's tough now, but I think it's going to be even tougher. I know some guys that I've talked to, caught a decent bag yesterday, but I think it's going to get harder as we go on tomorrow, and then after once the day one starts on Thursday, it'll gradually get worse. And then if you're lucky enough to make Saturday and Sunday, I think it's beautiful weather.
Right, it gets warm and sunny.
Yeah, so we'll see what happens there.
Do you feel like this tournament, are you going to find yourself trying to run new water throughout the event as well, like where you basically are practicing as you go?
Probably. I've kind of got a general area where I think I'm going to stay put, and I didn't go back there today. I started trying to duplicate it and find stuff, and that's where I ended up catching some fish. So I think I'm going to keep looking, and as the tournament goes, because it's not going to be where you go in there and you just sit and you catch them. If you catch them, they're done. You're going to have to find new water.
Keep on rolling,
so what I'm trying to do now is, like this afternoon, I was trying to find more new water, and I'll probably do the same thing tomorrow.
Well, you got one more day, Barry. I'm going to let you get rolling, get after it. Good luck, man.
Thank you. Appreciate it.